The next thing I'm going to do is set the levels up for the footpaths. As I mentioned at the start, I already have an alignment here called path 1. This is the existing alignment for the right footpath. All we're going to do on the right hand side is match the RFPI code onto this blue alignment, which represents the existing footpath alignment, and I'm just going to match the level onto that. For the outer section of the footpath, I'm just going to match that to the surface. On the left hand side, we're going to do something a little bit different, but I'll get to that in a sec. So if I open up the design data form for Alexandra Street, the first variation I'm going to use is called set code levels to match surface. And if you're doing a lot of road reconstruction projects, you'll use this particular variation a lot. So the code I want is RFP inner. I'll do this for the whole length. The surface we're matching to is the NS. The alignment I'm going to match to is path 1. You do have the option to also specify an additional height adjustment, so I can match this code to the surface and raise it up or down. So if I select on add update, you can see there now that RFPI has been matched down to the surface, and we're getting that varying crossfall. Now for the right footpath outer, I just want to match that level to the surface. So I'm going to create a copy of the last variation I added, but tell the software that the RFP outer code will just match the natural surface, and I will blank out optional alignment. So there's the existing footpath shown. On the left hand side, I'm going to do something a little bit different. When you're using advanced road design, you're always working out from the last code that was inserted. But in this case, what I want to do is work backwards from the boundary. So I want my footpath to run minus 2.5% from the boundary on the natural surface, and then I want a varying crossfall from the footpath back to the back of kerb here. So I'm going to show you an approach to do this, and I'm going to show you a variation that will allow us to do it. The first thing I want to do is open up the template editor, and I'm going to create a new template which will be called footpath. And this template will just have one code, horizontal distance 1.5, slope minus 2.5%, and I'll call this code RFP for right footpath. Click OK. So what I want to do now is create a string along the boundary. So I've got the alignment called LBDY. This string will be matched down to the natural surface, and I can use the create draped string command to create this type of string nice and quick. So the alignment will be LBDY. It'll be draped automatically down to the natural surface. We're going to apply that footpath template, set some spacing, and set the update mode to automatic. Drape strings are really useful for creating existing strings that might be matched down to a natural surface or something. So if I select update all to that, hit yes, we've now created that string. So if I open up the vertical grading along the boundary, you can see all the levels have been matched down to the natural surface. If I right click, you can see that footpath template applied. So what I want to do is tell the software that my footpath on Alexandra Street, I want the codes LFPO and LFPI to adopt these levels and offset on the string here. And the result will be a varying crossfall from the end of the footpath back to the curb. So essentially working, rather than working out from the template, we're working backwards in. So if I open up the design data form for Alexandra Street, the variation I'm going to use is called copy codes. I'm going to apply this along the entire length. I want to copy the codes from the boundary. The copy method will be full position, so my codes on my template will adopt the level and offset. And then it's just a matter of linking up the codes on your road with the codes on the string. So the LFP inner will be the same as the RFP code, and the LFP outer will be the same as the center line. So if I select add update to that, you can see here that we've pushed our template out at a varying crossfall, but we're maintaining 2.5% back from the boundary line. So that's an example of how you can use the copy codes variation. So we've applied, we'll set up two footpaths. One we've just set the levels to the surface, and on the left hand side we're working back from the boundary. The last thing I'm going to do before we move on to the next video is just do a driveway check, and I'll show you how you can use the driveway clearance tools in ARD to confirm that our driveways are going to work. So on the ribbon, there's a panel here called driveways. First thing you need to do is run this command called set layer. Software will create a layer based on the road name that we pick, and it's this layer that we draw polylines which represent the horizontal geometry of our driveways. So on the one driveway you might draw multiple polylines for different approaches into that driveway. I'm just going to draw the single polyline here. Next step is to go to the create option. So I pick my main alignment, and I set up the vertical geometry for my driveway. So at the invert code, the curb shape is going to change to a layback. You can create your own shapes in ARD. I could put an optional end shape in, so maybe we're tying back into a footpath that's matched to the boundary. It's not the case for us. I then need to set the extents on the left and the right. So the distance to the boundary is 7.5 meters on the left and the right. The target surface is NS, so the software will show that surface profile beyond our design extents. So the IPs created at the road and the curb are locked. We can't edit those, but we'll be able to design the profile for the row of the driveway if we need to. The next thing we do is set some vehicles that we want to check. I'm just going to specify B85 and B99, and then I select on create driveways. If I then pick on the design command and select on that polyline, a vertical profile for that driveway will appear. I generally set the exaggeration to 1, so it looks a little bit flatter. But you can see as I move my mouse in, the green tracker in the drawing showing me where I am. So these red IPs, these are locked IPs. You can see the layback shape and the road, and then I've got the locked IPs back to the natural surface at the end there. To do the driveway check, you select this button with the vehicle and the green tick and the red cross. There are a number of ways to show information or show the clashes. If you just tick on clash positions, it'll show you locations only when the vehicle clearance will not work. If you select on mouse forward, you can move your mouse within the profile here. These markers here represent clashes. So if you see those, then you know that the vehicle or the driveway is not going to work. I could go back to my road cross section and start playing with the levels on my curb to get that to work. Alternatively, I could add IPs within the driveway and start playing around with that until I got something that was going to work. So this is a quick run through of how the driveway checking tool works, and you could open up multiple profiles for the driveways on another monitor, and as you're working on the design, you can check to see whether that driveway is going to work or not.